Can y'all hear me now? Hello, hello. Hey guys, can y'all hear me better? Like, I don't know what's happening. Hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I don't know what's happening. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, I'm talking about the Blue Origin space flight that actually just happened. That is launched about 3 minutes ago. It's actually getting ready to land back now, which is pretty cool. It's actually just getting back to now to land. It's about an 11-minute flight. It has like Gail King on board, which is cool because like Oprah is there. It's launching out of West Texas. And it includes like Katy Perry, like Gail King from CBS Mornings, Lauren Sanchez. It's an all women passenger flight. Hey Grace, good morning, good morning. Hey, Lost in Translation, good morning. Yeah, I'm on a little bit early this morning because I was really fascinated about this Blue Origin flight that took place this morning. It was about 11 minutes long and it took place out of West Texas. It sent 6 women to just about the cusp of space exploration, I guess. It sent them about 62 miles above the Earth's surface, right at that line between like the Earth's atmosphere and where space like really hits. And this is actually the 11th flight from Blue Origin where they're sending just generic passengers to that part of space and everything like that. So I just think it's really fascinating. I don't know why. I'm just kind of interested in space exploration and everything like that. And the fact that they're just sending kind of the general public to space at this point, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you're interested, like I'm actually streaming it right now on my YouTube channel as well, Coffee Chat with Cham, but you can also watch it as well at blueorigin.com. Like I mentioned, like they are just getting ready to kind of get back to land right now. They have like the big plumes coming up and everything like that. It's really, really cool to watch this morning. So they took off a little bit after 8:30. They were a little bit late, but I mean, that's space exploration for you, I guess. They're always a little bit late. And the whole thing was supposed to be about an 11-minute ride, like about round trip. So they're making pretty good time. In the meantime, though, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning on this Monday morning? Hope everybody had a really good weekend. Go ahead, do me a favor and keep tapping your screens for me, especially if you're joining me on TikTok. Lots and lots of news, of course, to talk about from over the weekend. Of course, I mentioned starting off with this one the capsule just touched down. Oh, awesome. It took about 10 minutes and 35 seconds. So yeah, the official capsule just touched down onto the ground. Just now, like I mentioned, this Blue Origin space flight that was conducted this morning, it left, like I said, like a little after 8:30, and the passengers included like Gail King from CBS Mornings, Katy Perry, and 4 other people as well. Like I said, I'm just interested in this kind of thing. I'm sorry if you're not. Oh, Civil War, thank you for the heart, friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lots and lots of big news, though, to talk about this morning as well. So much really to talk about that happened from over the weekend. As always, if there's something in particular that you want to talk about on the coffee chat, let me know there in the comments section. If you have thoughts about a particular news story, also let me know there in the comments section as well. Because, yeah, we have lots to talk about. We have to talk about, I want to start off with the latest with this helicopter crash that happened last week, of course, in New York, because we got some updated information just really like last night. So, of course, if you're not familiar, a family of tourists from Spain unfortunately died when this helicopter pretty much just fell out of the air and crashed into the Hudson last week in New York. And as of last night, the FAA announced that the helicopter tour company would be shutting down their operations. So the FAA has now said, of course, that they are launching an immediate review of the tour operator's license and even their safety record as they continue investigating. Of course, the FAA and the NTSB are conducting their investigations right now. They have just started those investigations, and any type of investigations when it comes to any type of plane or helicopter or any type of aviation crash, they take an incredible amount of time. So this is just getting underway, but they are continuing their investigations. But they are also launching a review of the tour operator's license and the tour operator's safety record as they begin investigating. Chuck Schumer has also called for an investigation into these type of helicopter tours. He actually held a press conference over the weekend as well and mentioned that these types of tours tend to not have the highest safety standards, and that they tend to kind of prey upon people, especially tourists, and just prey upon people who are in a situation that they're excited to see the city and may not have the highest safety regulations. Oh, Eugene Dobby, thank you for the follow, friend. Thank you so much for joining the coffee chat. I appreciate it. Now, it is interesting, of course, because we do know over the last several months there have been several aviation incidents. Of course, another crash happened over the weekend, also in New York, with a private plane as well that was also fatal. So I decided to dig into the numbers a little bit just to see if there have actually been any more aviation crashes this year as opposed to in years past. And actually, at this time, there still haven't been. So I looked up at the NTSB, and they actually update their numbers relatively often. Now, this is according to their numbers as of last night. So I'm not entirely sure if they've had a chance to even update their numbers to reflect these last two crashes. But as of last night, aviation crashes are still not up from years past. In 2025, so far, there have been 263 total aviation crashes. They said that was through April 13th. 49 of those have been fatal. At that point in 2024, there was 287. And at this point in 2023, there was 278. So yeah, we're still way down from the last couple of years. So that is worth noting. It is a good thing that throughout the years we are getting better, I guess, with these aviation crashes. But I do think it's one of those things that the media is harping on these stories just a little bit more because they know there's a public fascination a bit about them, I think. Ashley, hey, good morning, friend. Yes, I am back. I'm sorry, guys. I know I was off a little bit last week. It was my mom's birthday, and so I was out of town, and I had great intentions of going live and of keeping up my lives, and I just did not do well with it at all. I just did. Tried to. I really meant to do better with it, and I just did not. I'm so very sorry. Oh, thank you so much for the shares, B. Burgess. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, how's everybody doing today? If you're just joining in, I know I'm also on earlier than normal too. I normally am on around 9 a.m. And I decided to start off a little bit earlier. I'm going to try starting around 8, so we can get a little bit of a bigger audience. If you can, do me a favor though, for everybody who's new here, especially if you're joining me on TikTok, because I'm streaming on several different platforms, please tap your screen for me. It is a free way to support my live, and I'd really appreciate any support I can get. Thank you. We started off by talking this morning, of course, about the Blue Origin launch this morning that launched 6 women into space, including, or kind of at that line of space exploration, if we're just being really technical about it, because it was right at the cusp of like the Earth's atmosphere and like where space kind of really starts. And so this launched out of West Texas this morning about 15 or so minutes ago. They have now landed back on the ground. The crews are now just getting to the capsule to kind of get the women out of this Blue Origin space capsule. On board right now are Gayle King from CBS Mornings, pop singer Katy Perry, journalist, philanthropist, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez. There's activists. There is a NASA physicist on board. So yeah, these are very prominent women that are on board. It's all women, as a matter of fact, 6 women on board. And again, this launched out of West Texas. If you'd actually like to see the footage, I'm actually streaming it right now on my YouTube channel, in addition to this live, at Coffee Chat with Chan. There are a lot of high profile people out there also watching the launch. Like Oprah Winfrey is out there right now. They're actually interviewing her. Of course, Gayle King is her best friend, so that does make sense. The Kardashians are out there, which I'm not sure why. I'm trying to figure that one out. I guess the mom, Kris Jenner, is out there, and Khloe Kardashian. I don't know what that one is, but Ashley, yes, everyone needs a break. And I'm glad you like listening while working. Thank you so much. Argento, oh, you finally remembered. Oh no. Lost in translation, yes, that was quick. So it was a very quick ride. So what they did is they essentially went up 62 miles above the Earth's surface. So the entire ride was about 11 minutes. I want to say altogether it was about 10 minutes and 32 seconds. They legit launched, went up, and came directly back down. They are on the ground right now, and crews are now getting ready to get them out of the capsule. They're actually putting up some gear to take them off, to get them off the capsule. Six Flags Over Earth, pretty much. That actually might be the best name for what this ride is right now. It's actually really cool. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by this, that just regular people are now able to do this kind of thing. Because this is now Blue Origin's, what is it, their 11th flight, and they've now sent some like 52 people to this point of space exploration, to where just kind of like right at the line, right, to where like the Earth's atmosphere kind of ends and like space kind of begins, kind of thing. But it's really, really cool. So of course, I'm sure we'll hear over like the next several days, especially like if you watch CBS Mornings with Gayle King, just like what it was like, and just to kind of hear like their perspective from it. I'm really interested to see, especially like the photos, the videos, everything that comes out of it, because I'm just fascinated by it personally. Like I said, though, I'm just really interested. I'm sitting here watching the video from it, so sorry if I just keep looking off, because I just think it's super cool. If there's anything, though, as always, though, because I know there's a lot of new people, especially with me being on at a different time, if there's something that you want to talk about this morning in the news, feel free to leave me a comment below, because I know there is a lot to talk about. I know I mentioned the update with the helicopter crash that happened. I also want to get to more on what happened with the Pennsylvania governor and the person who tried to burn down their house with. It's actually kind of wild exactly what happened there. So let me just kind of give like a brief synopsis for anybody who is not familiar. So right now, a suspect is in custody for for breaking into and burning down part of the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. Police have said now that the person has admitted to trying to not only burning down the governor's mansion, but also has admitted to saying that if they found the governor, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, that they were going to try to beat him in the head with a sledgehammer. It's absolutely wild and heinous. So the governor was actually in his home, in the governor's mansion, with his family and his children. They all had to evacuate, and thankfully everyone got out safely. They were in the home and had just finished celebrating kind of the whole Passover holiday. They had had Seder on Saturday. They were in the home kind of sleeping. A man broke in, was able to scale the fence, set fire to part of the house before escaping, and police were able to thankfully arrest and apprehend him later. Now, the man is still in police custody. He is now being arrested and charged on several different charges, including attempted homicide, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault. More charges, though, could be coming later on as well. As they continue to investigate exactly what happened here and exactly how he got onto the premises and everything. And exactly what the motive is. They still don't have a motive at this time or anything like that. So anything that you're hearing in regards to a motive right now is all speculation. There is no motive at this time. I would like to make that clear, because I have seen a lot of people talking on social media in regards to, whether this is in regards to one political party, if this is in regards to, maybe one racial or ethnic, or even any type of other ideology. Not true just yet. At least nothing that has been confirmed. But it's still incredibly scary, and especially if you've seen any of the footage, a huge chunk of the governor's mansion there is really destroyed. The flames were pretty huge. Thankfully, though, like I mentioned, the governor, his wife, their 4 children, 2 dogs, and even another family, they were all there on that Saturday night into Sunday morning, and thankfully they were all able to get out. No one was injured. The state troopers came and firefighters came and were able to get everyone out safely. According to the local law enforcement, the south wing of the governor's residence is pretty badly damaged. However, it does look like they were able to go back into the residence. I haven't been able to see whether or not they're going to be able to stay there, though. Sophia's mom, absolutely. I feel the exact same way. I think it's so terrible, right? Like I can't understand that at all, exactly what's happening. Like I mentioned, though, the suspect is still in police custody. I do know the suspect said that, or authorities were saying that the suspect had to hop over a nearly 7-foot high fence. It was an iron security fence that's around the entire governor's mansion that the person had to hop over. Then they had to somehow get around officers and get into the residence. It's kind of wild exactly like how this happened. I haven't seen any like of the security footage. I'm sure I've read some of the reports from some of the local news outlets in that area who've said that they have tried to request some of the security footage, but I haven't seen if they have any just yet. But that's something that I'd be interested in seeing. But yeah, I can imagine just how terrifying that was for the family to have had that happen. The local law enforcement responded around 2 a.m. on Sunday morning and got everybody out, like I mentioned, safely, but still super scary. The suspect, like I mentioned, is still in custody and has been moved to a larger detention facility. Will more than likely stay there for quite some time. I don't expect them to be getting out on any type of bail, bond, nothing like that at all. Oh, thank you so much for all the likes, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Please keep tapping your screen, guys. I appreciate it. It is an easy and a free way to support the live. And please, if you have not already, please go ahead and give me a follow. My name is Channing, if I haven't already introduced myself. I am a journalist, former news anchor, and I go live Monday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m. now. I used to go starting at 9 a.m., but I feel like 8 a.m. might be a better time for most people. Oh, thank you so much for the heart, CJC. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Also, this is super cool. So I'm just kind of going back to this one that I started with this morning with the Blue Origin space flight that was conducted this morning. So Katy Perry is now getting out of the capsule. She's kind of kissing the ground. I think she's very excited to have landed safely. Gayle King is now off. Lauren Sanchez got off and she kissed Jeff Bezos, who of course, her boyfriend, who's also, the head of Blue Origin and everything like that. So yeah, it seemed like it was a good ride. It lasted about 10 and a half minutes. They went about 62 miles above the Earth's surface and then just kind of came back down in this pretty tiny capsule. But it was really cool because it was 6 women passengers who all went up together and came back down. This is now, like I mentioned earlier, Blue Origin's 11th flight like this, where they have just taken general passengers to essentially this point of space, pretty much to where the Earth's atmosphere kind of ends and space exploration kind of begins. And I keep mentioning this one too, if anybody's interested in actually seeing it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of laughing because Gayle King is now doing the same thing. She's getting off the capsule and kind of kissing the ground and touching the sand and touching the ground. They're all very excited to be back on Earth, absolutely. If anybody's interested in actually watching the footage, you can head over to my YouTube channel right now and you can see just exactly everything that's going on. Or you can even head over to blueorigin.com and see for yourself. They have a live stream that's happening. In other big news, oh, thank you guys for the likes. Thank you. Oh, and Ashley, thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Lots and lots. Oh my gosh, there's so much happening that happened this weekend. Let's see. I wanted to make sure I talked about the latest with that helicopter crash. And we talked about the Pennsylvania's governors. Ooh, okay. I know, and I wanted to talk about this one because I did not get to talk about it last week, and I wanted to get people's thoughts. And this is one I want you all to weigh in on because I didn't get to get your thoughts on it last week. What have you all heard about the SAVE Act, and what are your thoughts about it? I want you all to weigh in on this one before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts of it. And so if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and leave me your comments there. If you know about it, if you don't know about it, if you have thoughts about it, please let me know. What do you think about the SAVE Act? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. You can leave that in the comment section as well. I just want to know what you think about it. Oh, Sophia's mom saying you haven't heard much about it. That's okay. Actually, that makes my life kind of easy because then I can explain. Michelle, I'm concerned about married women being able to register. CJC asking what it is. Awesome. Okay, so then let me do a little quick breakdown then, and then we can go into a little bit more of some thoughts. Because I want to make sure that I'm also giving you guys all the information and everything like that. So essentially the SAVE Act, this is a act that was approved by the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday, newly approved legislation, has not passed the Senate just yet. But it would require documentation that shows proof of your U.S. citizenship in order to register to vote, right? And here's where some of the controversy comes in, and that is in regards of how you show your proof of citizenship. So in the bill specifies very specific ways you can show your proof of citizenship. Right now, the bill only allows for certain things, including a real ID compliant driver's license that indicates your citizenship, which if anybody out there has your real ID driver's license, like I do, you'll probably notice that most of them do not show your citizenship status, right? Another option, though, is the valid U.S. passport. Another option is a military ID card with a military record of service that also lists the applicant's birthplace as in the United States. Another option is a valid government-issued photo ID that shows the applicant's birthplace was in the United States. A valid government-issued photo ID presented with a document such as a certified birth certificate, so you can use your birth certificate within the U.S. However, there have been concerns, valid concerns, such as one from Michelle, about married women who have, for example, changed their names, and they may not match like the information that is either on their passport, or that might not match the information that is on, say, on their birth certificate, things of that nature. And so there are some concerns. However, legal experts have kind of differing opinions. So I've read some information from legal experts who say, depending upon what comes out of the Senate, it could change how the law is interpreted. For example, that they could go back in and say, like, for example, they could make it easier, right? They could say easily that, like, for example, like the language in the Senate, when they actually pass the law, could say, okay, we're going to make exemptions for this. We're going to say, you're going to be able to use this form of identification, this form of identification, and this form of identification to prove that you're a U.S. citizen. They could, so they could make it easier for people. One of the things that I saw is that they said that you could use a marriage certificate. They said you could use a change of name form, things of that nature. But essentially, one of the things that most legal experts were saying is that you have to essentially wait and see what the Senate actually says and what that final bill, the language rather, of that final bill actually says before you can really say one way or another, because until that actually happens, we really don't know. Other people are saying, well, regardless of how that happens, there's still going to be concerns in regards to like name changes and in regards to, well, voter suppression, because it just makes it harder. And I think we can all say, the issue of having a passport in the United States is a huge issue because, well, they're one, incredibly expensive, and two, incredibly time consuming to get. So I do think this presents a pretty big problem for a large amount of people here in the United States if you want to register to vote, or even if you just need to change your voter registration, because I think that's also a pretty big concern. So it's been a very big talking point, especially on social media, with people having concerns in regards to voter registration and in regards to potential voter suppression. Let's see. Sophia's mom, they should set fee waivers to make getting passports accessible. See, now that's what I think. To me, I think that's the solution here. I think the solution here is that if you want to pass this law, which I'm totally fine with, if you want to make it to where we make it a thing at the point of voter registration, where you're checking everyone's citizenship, then make getting your passports free. I think that's a very simple thing. I think getting a U.S. passport should be free, and it should be a very expedited thing. I think it should be more like getting your getting an ID, getting a driver's license. I think that's the simplified answer here. Maybe it's just me. I really like if that's going to be the standard, if that's going to be the norm, if that's going to be the thing that we're going to use more so to prove our citizenship, then it should be free. Why not? And it would cut down on any concerns that we have. And it also shouldn't take you 3, 4, 5 months to get one or to renew one or anything like that. There's no reason why you should have to wait for several months to get your passport, and that doesn't make any sense either. And it shouldn't be so hard to get one either. No, that doesn't make any sense. But again, like I kind of want to hear what you all think, especially now that you know more about it. And if anybody has questions too, I'm happy to send you more information. There are, I always tell people, like, if you actually want to know more about what the act actually says, go to the actual source, read the actual House bill. You can even, for example, when the White House, when President Trump does executive orders, read the actual executive order and then go to the news sources and see what they say. Believe it or not, the White House actually does a really good job of writing up their executive orders and explaining them on their website in very layman's terms. That's one thing that I think that they do a very, very good job of. The Congress, not so much, but they actually do post all of their bills and all their legislative actions, I think. And honestly, like, if you want to cheat it, you can actually, something that I do sometimes, you can actually pull all of their legislative actions and put it into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you. It's a quick and easy way to do it as well, if you want to do it that way. But it's a very, to me, it's a good way of just making sure that you have all of the knowledge and everything that from what the bill is actually saying from the proposal, and instead of just having like a news article try and give you like their spin and everything like that. CJC, no problem at all. Happy to help everybody. Thank you so much for all the likes, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you for the gifts, guys. So yes, that has been a really, really big one, of course, today. That people have, like I mentioned, have been talking about over the last, it was a really big trending topic over the last several days here, especially, like I mentioned, on social media, with a lot of people having concerns, especially a lot of married women having concerns about, you know, if they've changed their name, or even if they haven't changed their name, or if their name just, if they have a hyphenated name, anything like that. They're just concerns just in general about, you know, what they would need to do, what kind of information they need to show in order to make sure that they can still vote, or if they need to re-register, you know, change their registration, change the information on their voter registration form, what that would even look like for them. Sorry, and I'm just trying to keep up with the latest on this Blue Origin capsule as well. So like I mentioned, all of the women that were on this Blue Origin capsule that was launched at around 8:30 Central Time are now back on the ground. They're doing a bunch of media interviews and everything like that, because of course, like with anything like this, there's tons and tons and tons of media. So now, of course, they're talking to the media. Gayle King is up talking. She and Oprah were actually giving some interviews together. So they launched out of West Texas a little after 8:30 Central Time. They went about 62 miles above the Earth's surface, and it was 6 women on board, and they're now back down, like I mentioned, on the ground, totally safe. And it was about 11 minute ride. And it seems like they're super energetic, super happy, super excited to be back on the ground. It's really cute. Like, Gayle King is just like up bouncing around. Like, she must be really, really energized. I absolutely love it. I think it's adorable how much fun she's having. I like it. I think this is great. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're interested, if you want to see the video, you can go to blueorigin.com, or you can head over to my YouTube channel, Coffee Chat with Chan. I'm also streaming the same thing as well if you want to watch it as well. Let's see, other big news that's happening as well. And you guys let me know too if there's a particular news story that you want to talk about, or if there's something more that you want to know more about as well. You go ahead, you can feel free to leave me comments as well. I'm kind of just scrolling through and looking at some of the big news stories that I've done a little work on and what I've been looking at over the last couple of days. Let's see, we talked about the SAVE Act, we talked about the helicopter crash, we talked about, let's see, Pennsylvania governor's mansion. Let's see, what else is happening? Oh, and I did want to mention too, I forgot to mention this one in talking about like the SAVE Act in particular. Oh, thank you guys for the likes. Thank you. And thank you for the gifts as well. Thank you so much, guys. I did want to mention this one too in talking about the SAVE Act. If you are already registered to vote, unless you are changing your registration, this does not apply to you. So if you're once you're like if you're registered to vote, you're totally fine. This is completely fine. You're totally fine. You don't need to worry about it. Stephanie, good morning. Mel Gibson got his. Oh, geez. Can you explain how manufacturers in China sharing their costs are related to tariffs? Ooh, Stephanie, actually, that is a story I am working on. It's like you read my mind, Stephanie. Oh my gosh. That is a great one. That is actually one I am working on for tomorrow because I needed to do a little bit more digging on that one because like y'all know, I always say this, I am not an economist. However, I'm a really good researcher. So no, I'm going to have that one for you tomorrow because I needed to do a little bit more digging on that one because I also had questions. Hey, David, good morning. Good morning. I also had questions about that one. Just like you, I kept seeing that one on TikTok as well. And I also have a lot of questions about that one. But yes, I'm going to have that one for you tomorrow. I promise. Because yeah, I'm also confused. And if you have specific questions, feel free to DM me. Because I plan on doing more research on that one today. And because yes, I'm just like you. I was like, wait, what? Argenta, let's see. No chance of them going back and canceling active voter registration. Oh, so yes, no, that is a great question. So yes, with the SAVE Act, this is only applying to people once you're going in to register to vote. This is not meaning that, this is not for people to, this doesn't mean that you have to show proof of your citizenship when you go in to vote. This is only when you register to vote. So if you already have your voter registration card, you're good to go. Like you're not going to have to go in and re-register. You're fine. You're totally fine. So yes, this is if you move, if you need to update your registration card, that kind of thing. You're not having to go in and re-register to vote or anything like that. They're not saying that they're going to change or do away with your registration, that you're going to have to go in and re-register, nothing like that. Unless you have to update anything on your registration card. Like for example, I have just recently moved to a new state. I have to get a new registration card. Then I would then have to go in and show proof of citizenship through a passport, something like that. Other than that, say if you haven't moved, you don't need to change anything, you're good to go. You're totally fine. Johnny, good morning. Johnny, lost in translation, essentially, yeah, they're cutting out the middleman. If in talking about the Chinese tariff thing, yes, essentially, from what I've gathered, that's essentially the gist of it. Oh, Digitech World, thank you for the like, friend. Thank you so much. Pokey, what about voter purging? Now, see, that's something different. No, that is something different. Now, it's a possibility, but that would be something different. And especially as long as you have your voter registration card, you have your voter, I don't know, they could, but then we're going into one of those whole one of those whole cycles of well, they could do this, they could do that. Technically, shoot, you could do anything. You know what I mean? We're just then you're just kind of going down that cycle kind of thing. And I personally just kind of like to wait and see what happens. Technically, yeah, they could. They really could. But I did want to be clear though, at least from what the law actually says. Right? And I do want to be clear about what the law says, because a lot of people are saying different things in regards to what the law says and from what the law, or the bill rather, because it's not a law yet, because it has not been passed, from what the legislation is actually proposing. It does not propose anything in regards to, anything other than when you go in to register to vote, that you have to show proof of citizenship. To me, the bigger issue is the proof. To me, the issues are the barriers in showing that proof of citizenship. There's not a lot that you can show. The real issue is the fact that for example, your real IDs, I have a real ID compliant driver's license, and it doesn't show your citizenship status. And my state ID or my driver's license has been real ID compliant for years, and it doesn't show your citizenship status. The only thing that I have that shows it is my passport, which is fine, but it's not fine for most people because they're, one, incredibly expensive, and two, they take a long time to get. So even if you want to get one, say starting right now, or even say this bill is passed and turned into a law in the next several months, well, even if you want to get one when it's turned into a law, it's still going to take you several months to get one and a couple of $100. So That's the thing for me. I think they have to do something to make that an easier, more streamlined process at the very least, if they're going to turn this into a law. That, I think that's the thing for me. But I don't know. Like I said, you guys let me know what you think. What do you think? I always want to know what you all think. It's given to the states. Hillary, yes. And that absolutely, it is given to the states. Yes. And that is another thing, absolutely, because most things when it comes to voting in general is given to the states. I mean, and I think that's another thing that people forget is most power when it comes to voting and how we do elections in general is given to the states. But U.S. passports, though, is kind of a federal thing. That's hence, U.S. passports. So to me, the quick fix and the thing that would make everybody's, I think, will put most people's minds at ease is if Congress would just say, hey, why don't we do this? If we're going to pass this thing, why don't we make passports free? Or why don't we make passports, say, like $10 and make the process to get them an expedited one? So instead of it taking, like, say, 6 to 8 weeks, which is what they say, but we know it doesn't take 6 to 8 weeks, maybe take just 1 week to get them. Just make it an easier process, make it a cheaper process, make it not as hard to get one. Therefore, more people could have access to them. Therefore, it's not as big of a deal. And I think less people would freak out about that. I don't know. Like I said, just me. But so, yeah. Oh, thank you guys for all the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If he made having a passport a law, he should supply the money for it. I mean, and that's, I agree. I think the same thing. I'm like, if that's going to be, a component of any type of bill like this, because like I mentioned, so the thing is with the SAVE Act, there are a few different things that you can have. And I do want to be clear, it's not just a passport, but that is one of the easiest things for most people, because it's either a Real ID compliant driver's license that indicates that you're a citizen, which, again, like I mentioned, I have a Real ID compliant driver's license that does not, anywhere on there does not say that you're a citizen, or a passport, or a military ID that says that you were born in the U.S., a valid government issued photo ID that says that you're a citizen, or another valid government issued photo ID that shows that you were a citizen, or you can also use a birth certificate. So so essentially unless you were in the military, your options are a birth certificate or a passport. So that's the thing. So you've got to make that easier for people. With a severely reduced workforce and crippled process, absolutely. So you've got to make the process easier. If that's going to be the standard, that's totally fine, but make it easier for people to adhere to. No question. And yes, and cheaper, absolutely. Like, don't charge people over $100 for something. Like, that's not a possibility. Like, don't do that at all. Absolutely. They're very expensive. They take weeks, if not months to get, especially over the last several years. They've taken so much longer to get than they ever were. Even just a passport renewal now is taking people months to get. They're going to have to expedite them. You can't have people spending over $100 and then waiting 3 months to get a passport when you have to use them in order to register to vote. Either, to me, and I keep saying this, make them free or make them under $20 and don't have them take any longer than 2 weeks to get. To me, I'm like, it's a very simple thing. I don't understand. To me, I've never understood why they cost any more or take any longer than that anyways. It doesn't make any sense to me. I have copies of all these things in my safe. Birth certificate, marriage license is not the norm. So yes and no. Like, I will say this. So when my mom had to go get her passport, her original passport, and this was like forever and ever ago, people who were not born in hospitals have issues with their birth certificates. And I say this from my mom, who was a baby boomer and was not born in a hospital, and even people who like now like are born like at home, things like that, have issues even getting like their birth certificate copies, things like that. So yeah, it's not always as easy. Also, people who, like, say for example, if your documents are gone like from a flood, from a fire, anything like that, if you were trying to get a copy, if your original has been lost, good luck. I used to work in financial aid for a college, for a career school. It's really, really hard to get that kind of proof. It really, really is. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it can be really, really tough if you don't have them. Not saying like it's always the thing. Like a lot of people do have them, absolutely. But yeah. Oh man, my husband and I just renewed and applied for our kids, and it was over $500 for us all. My God. Woo. They can get new ID within 2 weeks, so why can't they get passports in 2 weeks? Absolutely. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I do not understand it at all. Like, I think it should be a lot easier. Now, Daniels, I agree with you. Like, yes, like, I have all my copies, too. I do. But I will say, like, not everybody does. Not everyone. I will definitely say not everyone does. Make the docs digital. You know? And obviously, birth certificate is cheaper than passport, but not free. Yeah. I mean, and even if you don't want to make it free, I'm like, just under $20. Just something. I'm like, you can't have it be that expensive. You can't, and have it be a prerequisite to vote. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? And I think that's it. And I do understand. And Daniel said it's a great point, because the screening process for international travel is different. I totally understand that. However, and this has been my whole thing too, is if we want to make this a prerequisite for voting, we've got to change that. Like, if this is what we were going to do, if we're going to make this more of a prerequisite for voting, then we're going to have to do something different here. I mean, you've got to change it, you know? Yeah. I think, and you know, I mean, we can update that, and I think that's totally fine. Like, I've never minded, you know, paying for my passport, because I understand it's a luxury. I get that. It's fine. I understand that. But, you know, if it's no longer going to be considered a luxury, well, then we've got to treat it like it's no longer a luxury. If it's going to be a necessity, then, like, let's treat it like it's one, you know? Like, I say almost the same thing like the internet. Like, the internet is no longer a luxury. The internet is now a necessity for most things. So we got to kind of treat it like it's one, you know? It's a good conversation, guys. I like this one. Let's see what else is going on, guys. They say our voice matters, but does it really matter to them? Ah, man. Now listen, that's a whole topic of conversation. Immigrate, thank you for the like, friend. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's a great one. That is, I have no idea. Does it really? Yes and no, I think. Maybe a little bit. I would like to think so. Somewhat. Let me get back to this one a little bit, and we can go back to Say Back. And as always, especially if you are new here, feel free to comment there in the comment section. If there's something specifically that you want to talk about, a news story, a topic, feel free to leave it there in the comment section. We can go back to it. I just kind of tend to jump around a lot, like with different stories and things that I see in the news. One story. Oh, the one kid. Oh, tell me which one. Which kid? Unfortunately, you know, you gotta be more specific than that, because, you know, things happen a lot. So yeah, let me know which kid you're talking about. The 17-year-old. Hold on. Where was that? I think I know the one you're talking about. I think I know the one you're talking about. Give me 1 second and I'll get to that one with you. I wanted to get to the latest on the helicopter crash, because I said this one earlier, but it's been a little while. So if you remember last week, the family of tourists from Spain that sadly died in that helicopter crash in the Hudson last week. What was that? On Thursday, I believe. The FAA announced last night that the tour company that ran that whole company that the helicopter was a part of is now shutting down their operations. And now the FAA is going to be launching an immediate review of the tour operator's license and even the safety records. So the FAA and the NTSB are already investigating the crash itself, but now they're also going to be investigating that tour company for separate safety and record violations. Chuck Schumer has already called for investigations for all of those tour companies in the New York area that operate any type of private aviation tours in regards, especially helicopter tours. He actually called a press conference over the weekend saying that a lot of these tour companies tend to have some predatory tactics when it comes to trying to get tourists on board, and saying that they don't necessarily operate under the best safety practices and protocols. So they are going to start investigating and looking into several of these tour companies. But again, the company that specifically ran this helicopter tour is now shutting down. And of course, we know over the weekend as well, another private plane also sadly went down over the weekend in the New York area as well. This one was also fatal and killed another family as well. They were heading to the Catskills in New York. And I know with all of these different plane crashes, a lot of times people ask me, like, does this mean that, more crashes are happening, things of that nature? So I actually decided to look into the numbers, and I actually saw that while over the last 20 years, 5 helicopters on commercial sightseeing flights have crashed into the Hudson or the East River, killing about 20 people, right? However, airplane aviation crashes overall are actually not up. They're actually down year to year. So far this year in 2025, there have been 263 overall aviation crashes. 49 have been fatal. At this point in 2024, there were 267. 51 were fatal. And at this point in 2023, there were 278 with 51 fatal. So there has been a drop in these crashes overall, and even a drop in fatalities, thankfully. But it just seems like there are more. Oh, Maritza, welcome back, friend. What's going on? What's going on? And thank you for sharing the live. And Stephanie, yes, a lot higher than I would have thought. And actually, a lot more crashes than we ever hear about. No question. A lot more than we hear about. We really don't hear about these kinds of nearly the amount of crashes that actually happen. But I think a lot of it is because, when a crash happens, you tend to hear about it quite a lot on the news, and it tends to be a very big story. And so people tend to think that it is a lot bigger. I don't want to make it seem like it's trite when it's not, because it is a big deal. But it is still one of the safest ways of traveling. They're still a lot less frequent than car crashes are, believe it or not. It's still a high number, but nowhere near what car crashes are or anything like that. And yeah, exactly. Never heard about this many, and you probably never would, not even a little bit. But the NTSB actually keeps very good numbers. So I actually checked these numbers last night, and these were numbers that they said were up to date as of last night. And I'm not entirely sure, though, if they actually include those last 2 crashes, the helicopter crash and that private plane crash from last week. I imagine they were, though, because they said that they did. But so yeah, they actually do. They keep really, really good records and numbers, and you can check them on the NTSB's aviation website. They keep, like I mentioned, very good numbers. But no, don't be scared to fly. Like I mentioned, like like I mentioned, every year it actually does get safer and safer to fly. Crashes are trending downward. Fatal crashes are trending downward. I think a lot of it is just that we hear more about it, and especially what tends to happen is if the public tends to fixate on one, you hear more about the next one. It's just kind of one of those things. It's not necessarily more happening. It's just that you remember one and then you hear about another one, that kind of thing. Absolutely. Oh, Maritza, did you miss anything? No, not too much. Actually, we were talking about that with Katy Perry going into space. Yes, absolutely. I think that's so awesome. We were definitely watching that one. Oh, scared to drive, especially on 35? Oh, yeah, I'm scared to drive on 35 too. Absolutely. I think it feels scarier because Trump has come in and is firing anybody and everybody so suddenly. I understand that. So yes, and that's why I wanted to dig into the numbers and and take a look at things. And so yes, it is definitely worth noting that yes, the year over year there has been a pretty steady decline in in aviation crashes overall and in fatal aviation crashes. So yes, I just wanted to rest assured that it is still the safest means of travel as in regards to mass transit and everything like that. So yes. But it is one of those kinds of things that where you just hear a lot about it. Absolutely happy to help. Like I'm one of those people, like I hear something and I just have to know more about it. That is who I am. I think that is why I'm a journalist. I really like researching. I have to know more about something. When I hear something and I'm like, oh, I just need to know why this is. I need to know what's going on with it. That's just who I am as a person. But I always tell people to listen, if there is something that you want to know more about and you just don't feel like digging into it, please let me know. I'm happy to help. I am happy to dig into it for you because I really like doing this. But yeah, like the numbers were really, really interesting. Like I mentioned, there were, of course, the lowest numbers were, of course, like coming right out of COVID. Of course, nobody was flying, nobody was really traveling or things like that. So there was, of course, like a spike that happened then, and then we kind of dropped back down. But yeah, so for this year, we are seeing like a pretty drastic decline over the last couple of years. Absolutely. What was really interesting, we did have like a little spike with, with train travel for a while, where we were having like several train accidents, and I don't know what the cause of that was. But that was a really interesting one for me, like looking at the NTSB's records on that. And I have no idea what that was about, but we did have a few years where train accidents really spiked. And I have no idea why. But by and large, traveling on highways is one of the worst. Absolutely. So yeah, happy to help. Oh, thank you guys for the likes. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see, other news that we talked about this morning. Another big one this morning, of course, a suspect, of course, is in police custody this morning after authorities say that he broke into and set fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home. Authorities also say that the man told police that if he found Governor Shapiro, that he planned on beating him with a hammer. I'm like, how crazy do you have to be and evil? My God. So apparently the man's name is Cody Balmer. He's 38 years old. And apparently he walked all the way to the governor's mansion from his home, which was about an hour away. He had to scale like a 7-foot fence to do all of this. It's absolutely wild. I'm like, you got to be a different level of crazy. Now, we don't know anything about the motive just yet, and I've seen a lot of people speculating online in regards to, like, what the motive is, like if this had anything to do with, like, anti-Semitism, if it had anything to do with, like, being on the far right. Police have not said anything about that. So anything that you are seeing in regards to that is all speculation. Like, police have not said anything just yet, so just know that. Like, nothing has been said officially at this time. Let's see. How did he get past security? No, so that's a great question, and that's what police are still looking into. So right now, like I mentioned, they're saying that they do know that he walked from his home, scaled like some 7-foot fence. Now they say that the governor, of course, did have guards there, and that he somehow got past them. That like the guards saw him, tried to get him. He was able to evade them, got onto the property, and had like these kind of like weapons that he used, like makeshift weapons that he used to set fire to part of the home. They said he was in the home for only about a minute, and then they chased him out, and then police were able to get him off of the property. Like, they were able to capture him off of the property just a few minutes later. But then police were actually called to the home around 2 a.m. on Sunday. Now, the governor, his wife, his, 4 kids, dogs, and another family were in there because they were celebrating Passover. And luckily, no one was injured. Everybody got out safely. No one was injured, thank goodness. But the pictures are terrifying. Like, yes, absolutely. Like, the pictures of the home, like, it looks really bad. It could have been catastrophic. Thankfully, had the security people not acted, I guess, as quickly, had they not been able to get them out as quickly as they did, it could have been a really scary and catastrophic event that happened there. And thank goodness no one was injured, because oh my gosh, like, oh, thank you for the likes, thank you. But yes, if you haven't seen the pictures, like parts of I think they're saying it's the south wing of the governor's residence is like the most damaged, and you can see the windows are completely like gone. It's completely like charred and blacked out. Yeah, it looks really bad. I haven't seen whether or not they've been able to go back into like any of other parts of the governor's mansion or anything like that just yet. So yeah, but I do know, of course, that Balmer is in police custody and everything, that he has been charged with several different charges at this point, including attempted homicide, terrorism, aggravated arson, aggravated assault. But they did say that other charges could also be coming. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what those other charges are, if anything, at this point. Which governor? I'm sorry, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania Governor. So yes. And what's interesting is, so if you're not familiar, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro has kind of more recently made a name for himself, especially in the Democratic Party. He's been one of the names that's been kind of thrown around to potentially even be a Democratic candidate for the next presidential race. So he's been one of those names that's been kind of thrown around as one of the next potential like party leaders. Oh yes, that's what you were asking for. Yes, let me look into that one. Oh, it was Idaho. Idaho police. Let's see. Oh, it was by Pocatello police. Oh gosh, let's see. So I used to cover this market, and let's see. I'm almost positive. If it's the story that I'm thinking of, I'm pretty much sure I can tell you no. Let's see. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Yeah, so what you're asking for, it was I'm trying to see if I can find the actual article from the local news there. Just sometimes hard to do without pulling in like a video, because then it's going to be like super loud. Let's see, Idaho. Okay. Okay, so this is let me make sure that okay, so Johnsy is asking for this story, an update on this story. So it's about an Idaho teenager who was shot by police and later taken off of life support, sadly died on Saturday. So the 17-year-old's name was Victor Perez. He had autism and cerebral palsy. Sadly lost his life and was removed from life support on Saturday. Now let's see. Police shot him on April 5th. Officers fired nearly 20 times at him. And I'm trying to remember what the circumstances were. I believe... Oh, okay, I remember now. Okay, so police, according to this news article, and I'm reading from KTVB, which is one of the local news outlets in this area of Idaho. According to them, police responded to a 911 call saying that Perez was attempting to stab a family member and was intoxicated, but claims are strongly disputed by family members and relatives. Perez's grandfather explained that the teen approached with a knife but wasn't threatening anyone. And his grandfather said that he didn't know if he was coming to play or to help. And the family says that Perez, who did not understand English, couldn't comprehend police's commands before officers opened fire. So now the officers were placed on administrative leave after this all happened. And at this time, it looks like they've still been placed on administrative leave. I don't see any type of update in regards to anything other than that. Of course, now the teen just passed on Saturday, and it is just Monday morning, and I haven't seen any updates yet. There could be something that comes out later today. A rally and a vigil was held on Saturday in the town of Pocatello, where the teen was from. The Eastern Idaho Critical Incident Task Force, they're investigating the Pocatello police. In Idaho, they do have an external division that investigates anything like this whenever there's a police-involved shooting like this one. So they're investigating what happened, and there is a GoFundMe that's been set up for the family. And now, what I'm trying to see, though, is exactly what happened, like how police were called in the first place. What I can't figure out is how police were called in the first place. And that's the part, like, I was never able to really see. However, the mayor has posted a statement on Facebook. There was a press conference that was held last week, and the mayor has expressed, their sentiments, calling it a tragic event, and saying that they don't take it lightly. They said that they do plan to release the body camera footage in the coming weeks. But that's pretty much the latest on the whole situation and everything like that. Johnsy, I hope that answered your question, friend. Oh, thanks for the like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I hope that answered it. I hope that was the one you were talking about. Of course, of course. Happy to help. It's sad that, so many things happen that I have to get, like, very specific information from you to, find stories like that. Unfortunately. I know. Unfortunately, like, I need very specific things in order to, look up any type of story like that involves anything like that. Unfortunately. Well, all right, friends, I guess that is all for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you have not already, if you're new here, please go ahead and give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it. Trying to grow my following on here. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to join me tomorrow morning. I'm going to start going live a little bit earlier, so be sure to join me starting at 8 a.m. because I'll start going from around 8 a.m. to around 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a fantastic Monday morning, and I will see you back here tomorrow. And don't forget, I will be talking about these Chinese tariffs tomorrow. I got you guys. I will make sure that one is on the list because I have a little bit more digging to do. But don't worry, Stephanie, I got you. I'm going to make sure to explain how the manufacturers in China are sharing their cost and how breaking down all these tariffs and everything like that. I definitely got you covered. All right, guys, y'all have a fantastic day.